Hope you're doing well. My goal today is to convince you that doing VR on the web is super easy and inspire you to make something cool. Ben's talk was pretty low level. Mine is going to be relatively high level. The first thing I want to do is show you a framework called A-Frame. The website is aframe.io. And there's lots of really cool examples of virtual reality scenes that you can build and fork and play around with. So in this first one, if you see these little goggles down here, that is a Google Cardboard symbol. If you pull up this site on your phone and tap that button, you will have a stereoscopic 3D view of this scene. And I can move around in it in 3D space. So I'm going to show you how to make something like this right now. The first thing I'm going to do is just do a Google search for A-Frame CDN so I can get the source file. Copy it, paste it into a new index.html. And to create a virtual reality scene, you just add a tag called a scene. And now, believe it or not, with 2 lines of HTML code, we now have a virtual reality scene. There's nothing in it, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. But if I add another line and say a sphere, now I can pull this up in a browser. It'll be a little hard to see. If I step back, there's a sphere right there. And you can change attributes of your shapes by setting the attribute on the tag. So I can just say color is blue and go back and look at it again. Look at that. We have a VR scene. So most of you are JavaScript developers, I presume. You're probably thinking to yourself right now, hey, I bet I can set those attributes programmatically. Yes, you can, and that's what we're going to do next. Actually, first, I'm going to set position on the sphere so I don't have to move every time. I don't know if you notice, when you reload, you're like right on top of the sphere, and you have to back up and look down. So coordinates in 3D space are x, y, and z. X, y, and z. So if we want to move this guy, the x was okay, the y was a little low, the z is too close. Let's try that. And now we've got a nice view on our sphere. Let me go ahead and put this in split screen mode. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do in my code is create a little shortcut query selector. Oh yeah, let's make that a const. So now if I want to get a reference to my sphere, I can just say a sphere, and we'll assign that to sphere. And then we can set the color programmatically by saying sphere.set, set attribute, color, and let's say we want to make it red. Now that's got to be a string too. Save. Forgot my arrow. Ah, thank you. Say what? Oh, thank you. Sorry, guys. Let's put it at the bottom. Come on, you all should have known that. That was an easy one. Okay, so now our sphere is red. Before it was blue, big deal. Let's animate the color over time. So I'm going to use HSL. We can use, I'm pretty sure basically anything you can use in CSS, you can use setting the attribute here. So with HSL, I can change the hue of the sphere over time. Hue is measured in degrees out of 360. So I'm going to create another function called shift degrees. It's going to accept an integer of degrees. It's going to spit out degrees plus 1, and then we're going to mod 360 so it never goes over 360. Once it hits 360, it'll come back down to 0. And then, as Ben mentioned before, you use request animation frame to animate stuff in JavaScript. I'm going to create an animate function to pass into it. And inside of animate, I will set my sphere color. And then I will call request animation frame recursively. And I will then get it started right here. Let's create a hue value, just state that we can change over time. Hue is going to be set to shift degrees hue. So now we can use a string template. And let's see, HSL, our hue. Saturation, we'll do 100%, lightness 50%. Let's see what that does. Whoa! It's pretty cool, right? I mean, I'm changing a virtual reality scene. Come on, guys. So obviously in 3D space, we want to move things around in 3D, so let's give it some movement. You remember we set the position here. Oh, whoa. Something's trying to update. We don't need the color anymore. What? Stop it. We don't need the color anymore because we're setting that programmatically. We'll grab the position, get rid of that. And let's see. Let's pull color out too. So we got color, whoops, position. Make this string template so we can change it. And I'm going to make it 1.5 plus, let's see, date.now gives us the number of milliseconds that have passed since January 1st, 1970, I think. We'll pass that into math.sign to give us a little bouncing animation. See what that does. Oh. Anybody see my mistake? Louder. I don't. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I'm a little nervous to be up here in front of all you people, trying to be cool and smart. Whoa. 3 minutes. Okay, so let's really quickly give this sphere a little bit of context by also adding a plane. And let's go ahead and give it a color so we can see it. See what that does. Okay, our plane is vertical, so let's give it a rotation. Remember, X, Y, and Z, we want to rotate around that X-axis to flip it flat. So 90 degrees. Let's make it a little bigger. I'm setting the height because if you recall, it was standing up before. So height expands it this way, and then we rotate it flat. Let's set the color on that guy too. So let's see, we got a sphere here, get a reference to our plane. Just say plane.setAttributeColor. And I think it would be cool if the plane spun around in circles. Luckily, we already have a degree going from 0 to 360 and flipping back around. So let's rip the position tag off of our plane here. Oh, we don't have a position. Oh, yeah. All right, rotation. That's what I want to do. because we want to rotate it to make it spin around. And it'll be the same as it was before, except we're going to make this change. We'll just give it the hue. And then, let's see, pass the rotation in. Whoa, cool. Okay, there's one last thing I want to show you, and that is you can actually set the textures on your 3D objects just by setting their source attribute. So if we go back in here, I have a little image I grabbed from Jiffy. Chris Farley is very impressed. And that's all I had to show you. Thanks, guys. Anybody have any questions? Questions? Oh, I'm Benji. Benji K. Oh, and also, this code is on GitHub. I am OK Benji on GitHub. I think this works. Yeah. Oh, sure. Thanks, man. So yeah, I think if you look at my repos, yeah, there's A-frame demo right there at the top. All right. Thanks, everyone.